and then etched these glass plates. So I'm trying to remember the magnification here of the coronavirus. What is it, 125 billion?
Yeah. It's cool seeing it, because artists have been using this for decades, this technique, and it's cool to see it have a science application for teaching.
Yeah, so this is accurate. This is
That's cool.
This is an estimate. This is accurate.
That's just amazing. Thank you.
Now, each dot is an atom, or a molecule.
A molecule.
Molecule, okay.
Yeah, and in fact, we've got another molecular model you can feel there. And actually, a little bit of that, and they are these spikes.
Yeah, that everyone's been talking about.
Exactly. And actually, I guess, having said, we wanted to sum up how to make a vaccine. It's to find a way to present a spike to the body without infecting them with the whole virus, really.
Because the spike latches onto cells in the body, and that's how the virus infects the cell. So if we can make an antibody that prevents that happening, because the antibody binds to the spike, and the virus can't bind to the cell.
Extraordinary.
A protein overcoat, and then in this case they spill their genetic material, which is in the form of RNA, into your cells, and it reprograms your cells into virus factories.
I'm curious what y'all think of the theory that viruses, not like in mass quantities, but do exist free floating in space, and that maybe that's how life began on Earth. Viruses arriving on our planet.
Well, somehow genetic information evolved, probably started with RNA before DNA,
Yeah.
but it would have to be in an environment where it can dry out. And, I'm not sure exactly how it all started, but
Because the theory I've heard is that it was viruses containing complete DNA that brought DNA to the Earth. That's it's not a widely accepted theory, it's not a widely dismissed theory, but it's a theory.
It's the
That's the term. Thank you.
There's actually some elaborations of it which I'll take quite seriously, that because there's an interchange of material between Earth and Mars, so if you get a big impact event, throws rocks up, and they could carry with them bacteria. Bacterial spores are pretty tough, actually. And you could have, it could have been that Earth seeded life on Mars, or Mars seeded life on Earth, which is kind of quite fun, really. A Chinese group, the RNAs are packed up into these little eggs inside the virus. They're rather beautifully designed things.
Yeah, they almost look engineered. Every time I look at a picture of one or a diagram of one, I think it looks engineered. Yeah, truly.
It's always fascinating to me, the idea of people removing some of the, actual DNA from the virus and using it to actually help solve, issues, like a way to inject medicine into the body.
Our genetic code is littered with bits of virus, and actually there are viral instructions that are actually fundamental to our biology, interestingly. It's quite we've co-evolved with viruses, so we like to depict them as the enemy, but it's a bit more complicated.
It's almost quasi-symbiotic.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
So a bit more DNA, and then the pink bit is the structure, is the code to make the spike protein. And this was fortunately shared by the Chinese.
Yeah.
And it was like the starting for every vaccine team on the planet. As soon as they got
And some of the conspiracy theories too.
well, Sarah, you were ready to go, weren't you? You knew as soon as you got the spike,
Wow.
then you could start designing the vaccine. And I think Moderna made theirs in about 4 days flat, or something incredible. So, and here's a bit of the backstory. These are some of Jenner's lancets that he used.
Like the actual ones he actually used. That is
Oh,
cool.
wow.
So we've got some amazing artifacts in our medicine guns.
What I find
why the heck he used his son instead of himself?
he wants to have his.
It wasn't his son, it was Scott's.
Our textbook said it was his son.
No. It was
I'll be damned.
But before, so what Jenna did was use cowpox to protect
Yeah.
against smallpox. Before that, it was very common to use smallpox to protect against smallpox. So it's called variolation. You deliberately infect somebody with a small dose of the smallpox virus taken from somebody else.
Okay.
It's very similar to the cowpox inoculation, but it was much more dangerous.
Yeah.
Had a fatality rate of about 1 in 50. And that had happened to Jenna when he was a child. He'd been through that process. And the children did
I
get
didn't
ill.
know that.
And then 49 or 50 would recover. But so he was already immune to smallpox because he was variolation as a child.
So he couldn't do himself.
They
Yeah.
needed a
Yeah.
child.
Amazing.
They were quite keen to help us, and they're actually lined. So at one point we said, actually, let's just have a liner. But unfortunately, they are using them to make vaccines, so we never quite managed to get one from them. But we've got a few bits and pieces here, and this is from purifying the very first batches of the Pfizer vaccine, and so on. And we just wanted to give people a glimpse of what a gigantic operation it is. Even when
How much mechanical engineering is involved, not just chemical engineering.
absolutely, and also things like quality control. So we feature how this slightly quaint, and I hope tests that maybe in the medium term might not be used anymore, but using the strange blue blood of the horseshoe crab to spot bacteria that might have infected batches of vaccine and so on.
Wow.
And then I think we're very lucky because in the UK, we actually had the first vaccine given to a patient, Margaret Keenan, well, not a patient, to a member of the public, after a clinical trial. So we've collected the nurse's uniform, Margaret's T-shirt, the hypodermic virus being surrounded by antibodies, inspired by that. It reflects the sadness, sympathy and strength within us all during the pandemic. There we are.
I like what she said here. Focus on the antibodies as a symbol of defiance to shift the viewers away from the fearful image of the tiny vial entering towards a strong immune system.
Well, it is amazing how such a tiny thing can cause so much.
It's amazing. Wow.
Have you been recording?
Wordy, and let's say the Indian one is sort of perked up, and there's fewer vaccine, but more things like shows and so on to reach a very broad audience indeed. But there we
It was
are.
a privilege.